exposing the hidden mechanisms in our society. Have you ever taken a step back and looked at the world around you, at the systems in place, and thought, this is bananas, right? Because frankly, sometimes it feels like we're all just hamsters on a wheel, blindly accepting a system that often seems rigged against us. Well, today we're diving headfirst into the deep end of societal dysfunction and asking the big, uncomfortable question, why the bloody hell do we continue to follow a corrupt system? Is it Stockholm Syndrome on a global scale? A collective lack of imagination, or something far more insidious? Buckle up, dear viewers, because we're about to unpack the psychological mechanisms that keep us trapped in this often frustrating, occasionally infuriating, and always complex web we call the system. And spoiler alert, it's not going to be a cheery little stroll through the park. Have you ever wondered why people continue to follow a corrupt system? Today we're diving into the psychological reasons behind this phenomenon. I don't think people understand how deeply ingrained our conditioning is. It's like the elephant in the classroom. From the moment we're old enough to color inside the lines, we're told to obey authority, follow the rules, and trust the system. It starts with teachers and parents, bless their well-meaning hearts, who themselves were likely raised on the same diet of societal Kool-Aid. Then, the media, our education system, and even our social structures often reinforce these beliefs, subtly shaping our understanding of the world and our place within it. It's like we're all Neo in the Matrix, plugged into a system that dictates our reality, except instead of kung fu fighting sentient computer programs, we're just trying to get a decent mortgage rate. I bet you didn't know how deeply our lives are intertwined with a flawed system. Let's face it, even when we can see the cracks in the system, breaking free from it feels about as appealing as a kick in the teeth. After all, our jobs, our healthcare, our very sense of security, it's all intricately woven into the fabric of this potentially flawed system. So we cling on, white-knuckled to the familiar, even if it's slowly crushing our souls, because the alternative, the great unknown, feels far more terrifying. It's the classic devil you know scenario, but in this case, the devil is wearing a suit and charging us exorbitant interest rates. I don't think people understand how democracy can sometimes feel like an illusion of choice. We're told we have a voice, that our vote matters, but how often do we really feel like we're choosing between genuinely different options rather than carefully curated puppets playing their parts in a predetermined political puppet show? It's enough to make you want to scream into the void, or perhaps more productively, start a grassroots movement for campaign finance reform. But then again, who has time for that when you're too busy trying to decide between the candidate who wants to cut taxes for the wealthy or the candidate who also wants to cut taxes for the wealthy? I will never look at cat videos the same way after learning this. Let's be honest, folks. Keeping up with the Kardashians is far more entertaining than contemplating the complexities of socio-economic inequality. And hey, who has the energy to dismantle a corrupt system when there are new iPhone models to covet and endless streams of cat videos to consume? We live in a world designed to distract and placate us, where our basic needs are met just enough to quell any serious urges for rebellion. It's a brilliant strategy, really, if not for the whole eroding the very fabric of society thing. This is going to blow your mind. The oldest trick in the tyrant's playbook: pit the people against each other, and they'll be too busy fighting amongst themselves to notice who's really pulling the strings. Left versus right, rich versus poor, cat people versus dog people. The system thrives on division, turning us into squabbling factions incapable of uniting against a common enemy. It's a tale as old as time, really. Except instead of swords and shields, we have Twitter mobs and passive-aggressive Facebook posts. Progress, eh? You need to watch this if you struggle with believing that the next time will be different. Hope, it's a fickle beast, isn't it? We cling to the belief that the system can be fixed from within, that the next election, the next protest, the next charismatic leader will finally usher in an era of peace and prosperity. But what if real change requires more than just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? What if we need to acknowledge that the ship is sinking and start building lifeboats? It's a daunting thought, but sometimes you have to break down the old to build something better. exposing the comfort in ignorance. Let's be real, facing the possibility that everything we've been taught, everything we believe in, might be a carefully constructed lie is deeply unsettling. It's far easier to bury our heads in the sand, to dismiss inconvenient truths, and to tell ourselves that the system, while flawed, is ultimately working. But choosing comfort over truth comes at a price, and eventually that price becomes too high to ignore. So, we reach a crossroads, continue down the path of blissful ignorance, or confront the uncomfortable reality and fight for something better. Exposing the hidden forces in our corrupt system. Ultimately, the system survives because it's a master manipulator of human psychology. It exploits our fears, fuels our divisions, and offers just enough comfort to keep us from rebelling. But knowledge is power, and by understanding the mechanisms at play, we can start to break free from their grip. This isn't about despair, it's about empowerment. It's about recognizing that we are not helpless cogs in a machine. We have a choice, a voice, and a responsibility to create a better world for ourselves and future generations. Breaking free requires not just knowledge, but the courage to act on it. Thanks for watching.